Hello. Welcome to Total Truth Show, episode 47. We're going to chat today about leadership, the truth about leadership. My name is Aldwyn from the Gold Coast in Australia.
And my name is Ken Kleinberg, and I am coming to you all the way from the USA, San Diego County, California, to be exact.
And this is Naresh, everyone from Dubai. So all is going to be well today with we talking about leadership.
Yay, can't wait. Straight after this short introduction, we'll be right back.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Total Truth Show, hosted by myself, Ken Kleinberg from San Diego County, California.
And I'm Aldwyn, known as the Media Queen from the Gold Coast in Australia.
And our goal here on this show is to help you to break away from the mainstream media propaganda and lies, the disinformation and misinformation that's out there in the mainstream, and really help you to start questioning everything and start doing the research for yourself. We want to punch through all of that disinformation and misinformation. Our goal here is to raise global consciousness to quantum critical mass and then pave the way for a new awakened civilization. And we would love for you to come along for the ride. Don't take our word for it. The things that we share here on the show, that goes for our guests too. Start doing the research for yourself. Start going and asking the questions for yourself. Get out there and really find the real truth behind things. So with that, let's get started, you guys. Let's dive into today's episode. Once again, welcome.
Yes, welcome aboard. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us on Total Truth Show today. We have amazing co-host here, Ken Kleinberg, and Naresh Chandra, all the way from Dubai, India, then Dubai. And now a little bit about Naresh before we chat about leadership. He has 23 years of global experience working across different business sectors and fields. He's well-rounded, innovative sales guy. He's done marketing, strategy, entrepreneurial business, consulting, team building, coaching, mentoring, leadership, transformation. He's been a business development leader, and he can turn his hand to any task. We have a multi-talented guy here in with us, and he brings all of this to the table. Quite extraordinary. And he has worked in Asia Pacific, Europe, Middle East, Africa, Turkey, Southeast Asia. Phenomenal. Welcome, Naresh.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. It's really wonderful to be on the Truth Show because, as they say, that there can be a million lies, but there's only one truth. So that's how it is.
Yes, and then there's our truth, and there's the truth that we believe, and there's the truth that we get through the media, and we get other people's truth, and everyone has their version of truth, right? We actually Ken and I did a great show called The Truth About the Truth, actually one of our episodes. Right. There's a really good one to go back and go through. Now, Naresh, it's extraordinary all the things that you've achieved. Have you always been ambitious?
Not really. So it's like there is a step that you need to keep going. So I remember somewhere in the year 2017. So what happened was, not 2017, somewhere like 2007, you can say, 10 years back. So I was this company called Tata Motors, and it's an automobile company in India. And then after a week, everybody started coming to me and saying, Naresh, what changed? What's happened to you? Did you go to some outbound training, or did you meet some guru? What happened to you? They said, totally, you look different. You look something extraordinary. And say, I don't feel it, but what's that you guys are talking about? So they say that, I don't know, maybe you became too proactive. You were that introvert and now you look like an extrovert. What really happened? So probably there was that tipping point, and there were a lot of small steps Like Queen Elizabeth said, that it's not the giant steps, but it's the small steps that you need to take to get to that level. So probably those were the small steps, and finally one big day it happened. And then leadership is not something that you become in one day. You have to really put out yourself, be vulnerable, try to take feedback, have a higher level of situational awareness and self awareness, and transparency needs to increase. So probably that takes a lot of insecurity out of you. You're quite insecure when you're at an age where you feel that you've kind of missed the bus, and that's what people keep telling you. You missed the bus, you missed the bus. But the reality is there's no bus to miss. So that's how it is. So that's
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 true.
my, yeah, that's like the spark. So as they say that there is a spark in everybody, you need to find it, fuel it, fire it up, and release it in the right direction.
Yes, totally. I'd agree with that. And inch by inch, everything's a cinch, right? And as long as you're alive, it's never too late, right? It's never too late to step up and step out. In fact, I have a step up, speak up challenge going on right this week, believe it or not, encouraging people to step up and speak up. And it is an ongoing journey, isn't it? It's something that you don't suddenly become great at something, and it's no matter how much you know about your industry, there's always more to know too, isn't there? We're never going to know it all about our industry. But I always say to people, if you know 10% more than someone else, you can teach it. Right, you could actually step up as a leader if you know 10% more, and you can teach someone something, from your own experience or from something you've learned. And in fact, just before this, I had a team meeting with my team, and we've had a few challenges lately with the team. We've had a few errors that were made on with some things last week. And I was getting frustrated. I was getting increasingly frustrated about it, right? And so I just brought it up with the team today. I said, well, this is where I'm at. This is what I feel. I'm getting frustrated because I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. And, I'm feeling like the same mistakes keep happening, right? And so we just had a straight conversation about it. And, it's like any relationship. To be a great leader, you have to be able to speak your truth. And you're going to offend people at times. You know that sometimes people are not going to like what you're going to say. And I know that I'm not perfect either. And so I say to my team, well, please let me know if there's something I can do better to improve the communication that we have here, that we make sure things are clearer, right? So leadership, happens in the family. It happens in our workplace. It happens with our friends. It happens all over the place. And some people will choose not to be a leader. Some people just want to be led, right? Which is interesting. And then others step up to the plate. They keep stepping up and take on that leadership role. And I do believe it is something that can be learned. I think anyone can be a leader. And I think a lot of it is actually having the courage to step up. What are your thoughts on this, Ken, on leadership?
I definitely think, so there's two different types of people out there, obviously. I mean, there's leaders and then there's followers. And actually, there's actually a third one. There are born leaders. So there are people that are born with that ability. They are born with that gift. And then there's the majority of us that have to learn that, learn how to be a leader. And I myself am one of them. I typically in the past, I've been a follower, just always, following somebody else, never really making my own decisions on my own, just relying on somebody else. And it's interesting. It wasn't until recently I actually had to make an executive decision for myself with what I was doing around my branding, my company, how I was putting out content. And this actually had to do with a decision that I made around a particular mentor that was helping me. And the thing that happened was things just eventually got to the point to where it wasn't fun anymore for me. I wasn't sharing stuff out of my own voice, my own passion, and different things like that. There were so many tweaks and changes that needed to happen with the stuff I was posting out there, and it had to be a certain way, a certain structure and everything. it turned out like I was sitting there, I'm like, this is not me anymore. I'm not enjoying this anymore. And I don't believe that your business, your brand, what you're doing, content, I don't believe it should be something to where it's some kind of drudging task where you don't look forward to it. I believe that these things should be fun. They should be something you enjoy doing. And so for me, like I had to step up and I had to, kind of going along with the theme of what you're doing, Aldwyn, step up and step out and all that stuff. Well, I had to step up and I had to go, enough. Like I've had enough. Now I didn't have this conversation with them. I just simply decided to part ways. Um, the interesting part about that is as I decided to step up and say, no more, I'm going this direction now. It's interesting. That same week, I put out 3 different content pieces. And it was the first time, this has never happened to me before. So this is the first time that back to back to back. So the first post went out on Monday, second post went out on Wednesday, third post went out on Friday. It's the first time to where I got back to back awesome responses out of each one of those posts. Why? Because I came out and produced content that was in my own voice. That was my passion. That was the way I wanted to say things exactly. And I think what happened is people recognized that. They recognized that I wasn't hiding behind this, oh, the hook's got to be perfect. Oh, this has got to be perfect. And all that's got to, I just put it out there with my passion and who I am. People responded to that. That to me was the loudest message that I could have heard in a while. And so leadership is literally learning how to be that person that finally just steps out and says, no, I've had enough. I'm going this direction because this is where my heart is. This is where my passion is. And this is what I want. And I think that's a big key. When before making a decision like that would have been really hard for me to do because, am I going to hurt this person's feelings? Oh, am I, because in the past, I used to be so engulfed in what others thought about me. That then produced, stuff in my life that I wasn't liking what I was seeing. So this is a skill that I've learned to do, especially when it comes to my own brand and company. Standing in that brand and company in a way that I'm passionate about and in a way I'm proud about and in a way that I look forward to showing up each day. I look forward to producing content, whether it's a reel, whether it's long form written text or whatever it is, but I look forward to that. That's the way it should be. Anyhow, long-winded answer to that, but there you go.
Love that. What are your thoughts on that, Naresh?
So I would say that there's a version of you which you haven't met yet. So you need to keep going. And that's about unpacking yourself. So as a coach and as a consultant and as marketing and business development, I keep wearing different hats. But then it's really interesting that most people really don't know they are so valuable. They are a gift, and they are that light, that guiding light, and they still feel that they need more advice. I think it's time that many people start owning up the responsibility and taking up control over their lives. So that's really important, because if we have to navigate in this world, we need more leaders. It's not going to be one or two. Everybody in the family, in the community, in different pockets, we need more and more leaders to lead this world. And we can't take the risk of having few leaders, because probably if they are getting it wrong, we are in really hard times. So it's better that everybody starts stepping up, like you say, small steps, big change, progress one step at a time. The change has to be positive, the change has to be lasting, and anything is possible. So it's like that. And I always feel that leadership is 3 parts. every leadership is communication. So communication is leadership. Whenever you're speaking up, you're auditioning for leadership. Okay, that's how it is. And you got to always, as they say, you got to inspire. You got to aspire to inspire before you expire. So you got to inspire people. Why is it so important? Because if you only talk about money, if you only talk about relationships, you just see different parts of the puzzle. So you can't really get the puzzle, the whole picture, the whole story. So you got to really be personal. You got to connect with them. For example, right now we are speaking to our audience, and they are hearing us. Now, if that doesn't resonate with them, it's just going to go to cold storage. So that's how it is. It's going to be into the ice box. It's not going to. It's going to be frozen. And once it starts connecting, then they feel that they are part of that story. They need to do something. So one is personal. Second is future. Always you need to find a story and tell people that the future is going to be better than the present, and you got to help them to see that vision, that yes, there's a journey, there's a path, you need to take that step, and those little steps matter. And once you say that I'm going to help you and you're going to do it, and the future is going to be better than what we are doing right now, so the future story is important. And the third is the storytelling, because storytelling is the most oldest and the most well documented form of trying to change the story in our mind. So until unless you have a new story in your mind, you can't change the old story or the present story. So and in the storytelling, the biggest part is you got to keep that person in the starring role. They need to be the stars in that story. Only then they feel that the commitment and the effort is going to come in being part of that story. So as leaders in organizations, even nations, wherever, we need to make everybody a part of the story and tell them that they have a role to play, they can do it, give them the confidence, and that's how things happen.
I love that. I love how you said you have to aspire to inspire before you expire. That's really cool. Absolutely love that. And I think to be a great leader, you've got to be able to lead yourself. You have to have that resilience, and you have to have a clear vision, I believe. Otherwise, people are not going to follow. And in fact, we haven't been taught to be great leaders as children in general, particularly in Australia. It's all about rise to the middle in Australia. It's like do what you're told. This is as children. This is when you can go to the toilet. This is when you start school. This is when you finish school. This is, what I mean. And now we've seen politicians. I mean, we know we can't trust politicians. We know we can't trust the elite out there that are running the banking systems and all the rest of it. We know we can't trust those people. And so there's massive trust issues now with leadership. And a lot of people link leadership with people who are complete psychopaths, because a lot of them are psychopaths, these leaders, right? There's a lot of psychopaths and sociopaths out there. However, there's also a lot of amazing leaders that are doing extraordinary good for the world. And the more that we step it up and we become better leaders in our own lives and inspire others with a greater vision that is beyond ourselves, that is something to help the planet with what we're doing, when that vision is big enough, they say when the why is big enough, the how will show up. Right. And the clearer you are on your mission and vision, etc., the more you're going to have people who are going to want to join that. Like a great example is we've got the Animal Action Day coming up, the 17th annual Animal Action event, which is all about awareness, appreciation, and respect for animals. And we have had phenomenal support from the community. Everyone donates their time because we all don't like animal cruelty. We all want to raise awareness, appreciation, respect for animals. And we're all gathering together as a community. Everyone, phenomenal performers who normally get paid thousands of dollars, are coming and performing for free. We've got the founding member of the Seekers coming along, Keith Potger, coming along November 19 to the Gold Coast. They were a massive band in Australia back in the 70s, 80s, back in the early days. And, 60s even, amazing perform, and many others. And it just goes to show that when your vision is really strong, that it's much easier to be able to lead a community when you've got a really strong vision and when it's something bigger than yourself. So Naresh, have you noticed that too with great leaders that you've seen, that they've got a vision that is beyond, just wanting a better life for their family, which is nothing wrong with wanting a better life for your family. But when your vision is sort of beyond your family, do you find that people generally attract more people keen to join the movement?
Yeah, I mean, again, the concept of ikigai, which is really important, and we can bring that here. Like, what is your passion? What is your love? What is the world wanting from us? And can we also monetize it in some way? And if those paths intersect, in that intersection is that purpose, that real factor, and that is going to wake you up every day in the morning, and that you keep going. You don't have those thank God it's Friday and all those things. So that's something. And I mean, people keep talking about this balance, work life balance, but I have a different perspective. I think there's life, we need to balance our life. There's no work life balance. So you really don't say I'm going to work now and I'm going to have a personal life and a non-personal life. It's life. Now, how do you want to prioritize? So you need to prioritize. So at every stage in your life, probably that maturity changes your vision. So when you're young, you're hungry and you're competitive, and everybody is saying that you're not good enough, so you try to beat yourself up and keep improving. And then you get to a stage that, oh, it's not about missing the bus, it's not about not being enough. We are always resourceful, but then probably I didn't find it out for myself, and I need those skills. So I call the KSA, knowledge, skills, and attitude. So you need to have the knowledge, but it's not good enough. You need to have the skill, but it's still not good enough. But you need to have that attitude. And when that three things really mix properly, like a cocktail, and the energy flows. So knowledge, skills, and attitude. And again, I need to just bring a small concept called the tree. I use the tree concept, where the roots are the values, the trunk is the attitude, the branches are like the beliefs, and then the leaves and the fruits are like the behavior, and finally you have the action, which is the fruit. So all these things really matter. And it's a learning journey, as we all said on this platform. And vision needs to always be bigger than you. So I say you got to be selfish. First, you need to be selfish for yourself, and then for your family, then for your community, then for the nation, and then for the world. When you become selfish for the whole world, that's got the biggest vision, and that's how it is.
That's an interesting concept, being selfish for the whole world. I've never thought of it that way. However, I would totally agree. We have to fill our own cup up to be able to help others with the overflow. It has to start with putting the oxygen mask on yourself first before we can help others. So I think there's absolute gold in that. I love that tree analogy too. That is very cool. Ken, do you want to add anything to this conversation at that point?
I think that was very, very well said. One thing I will add is, in regards to the overflowing cup, if you will. Yeah, if you are neglecting yourself, if you are neglecting the needs and self-care of yourself, by the time, like, for example, by the time you show up for your clients, your customers, clients, potential clients, by the time you show up for those, maybe not all of them, but some of them, they're going to get the emptier version of you, because that level, that, energy and vibe level and how you're going to show up, it's now down lower. And that's now dipping into, you could kind of look at it as, when you show up for these people and you're at that level, you're actually taking energy from them. And that's not a good thing. When you show up for your clients or potential clients, you want to be the one that's giving the energy, because you have it to give. And so it's really, really important to be at that level.
Yeah, so true. And now with the topic of leadership, one of the most challenging things for people is actually to have a great team. And so I'd love to hear from you, Naresh, what are some of your tips to actually not just recruit a great team, but actually keeping them engaged ongoingly?
So you always recruit for the culture, and the recruit for the attitude. So knowledge can always be learned, skills can be improved, but it's very difficult to change the attitude. So I really don't see the big degrees and the educational qualifications as the limitation. They can only improve things, but then they are not the criteria. The criteria is the person. The criteria is the journey. The criteria is the ambition, the aspiration of that person. And again, a diverse culture, people from all walks of life, from all parts of society, multilingual. That's a team. Team is where everybody has a different idea. So then you have brainstorming, you have challenges, you have everybody talking about these ideas. Then we are not robotic. Okay, we are human. We are more human. So those different ideas come into picture, and then you come out with a real innovation. That's where creativity happens. That's why people who are in R&D, you find them so different from the average guys, because they keep creating, they keep thinking, they keep dreaming, and those dreams are really important. And if you have a dream for others more than yourself, that's where you really take those big steps to change things in the society. So that's really important. And what's more important is team building activity. You need to always build that synergy in the team. So probably take them out of the workplace, because normally the workplace is a trained behavior. Around the coffee machine also, you have a trained behavior. Even if people sometimes have a room full of games, but still that stress is there in the company environment. So it's always better to go a bit far, to a hill station, to a resort, to somewhere near the ocean, and spend time. And probably during those events and activities, the bulb just clicks. I mean, things happen. And then you see, I mean, sometimes this happened with me. Like, we had an outbound, and after coming back, this was in my like 10 12 years ago, a lot of people left the company after that. But that's humor. But I'm saying, sometimes it happens. Like, people feel that they want to do different things than what they're doing right now. So I think team building is important. And again, leadership is it's a responsibility of leadership to build a team.
Yeah, I agree. And attitude, I think, is absolutely crucial. Like you mentioned, having an attitude of gratitude is something that I always look for. And in fact, we every morning with our team, we actually share with each other 3 things we're grateful for every morning. So we always say good morning, and one main big thing we're grateful for. So it could be, I'm grateful for the sun. And a smaller thing, I'm grateful for birds. And then something about ourselves we're grateful for. So I'm grateful for my resilience. So 3 things every morning. So that's really practicing building that muscle of having that attitude of gratitude. And I think having someone that you're accountable with to do that with as well, I think is really important. So whether you have a buddy or you have a team or whatever it is, keeping that attitude of gratitude, and also being able to have those straight conversations sometimes, because, like any relationship, whether it's family, friends, there's going to be times that we're going to disagree with each other, right? And being also kind to self and kind to others while speaking your truth. You don't have to yell at people. You don't have to go aggro. Some people do express themselves that way, but there's no need for that. You can have a straight conversation and speak your truth and say, look, this is at the moment, I've got a problem at the moment. I'm concerned about this issue, and let's bring it to the table and let's look at how we can move forward from this. And this is where, you know, a lot of people, it blows me away, don't speak to family members. Some people haven't spoken to family members for 10, 20 years because someone said something they didn't like, someone did something they didn't like, and they've just branded that person as a complete num-num or whatever, right? Whatever it is. They just go, oh, my sister's like this, my brother's like that, my so-and-so, you know, like this happens again and again and again, particularly in the Western world, probably not so much in the European cultures and or it may do. Well, it probably does in all cultures. However, you know, just you know, I've noticed a lot in the, you know, Anglo-Saxon cultures that there's a lot of people sort of that just don't speak to family members. And actually, really, I found it with people from Mauritius, from, all I'd say probably it's a worldwide phenomenon. Do you find that you're very global, Naresh, with all the things? Do you find that's similar all around the world, that some people don't speak to family members, even when they have strong family culture, that they don't speak because someone says something they didn't like, or, you know,
I mean, it's all about ego, right? I mean, and it's all about a false reality and a false world you keep on making. And there are some 5 people who you feel they're your tribe, and they keep saying, yeah, great, great, great. And then one day you look into the mirror and you feel sad about it. And that's where you feel that you've traveled in the reverse direction for a long time. But then you need to take that step. You need to have the courage of saying that you've lived a false life, and then things happen, then things change. For that you need to again, like I said, authentic leadership starts with high self-awareness. So you need to have a higher self-awareness. You need to take feedback, you need to keep asking questions, and probably you need to get a mentor and a coach. It's really important, because they will tell you that and feedback is important. And feedback is not about the person, but about the future. So what steps? So I have this wonderful way of testing people. And I don't say like weakness and strength. I say send strengths which are lower. Let's say a 0 is a very low strength where you need to do a lot of improvement. A 3 could be a strength, a 4 could be competent, and 5 could be super strength. So it's not about weakness. You should never say about weakness. You should say, what is the next step? So how much gap is there? How much needs improvement? So that's what is feedback about. So that's how I always look at it.
That's interesting, because you look at, you know, DISC profiles, wealth dynamics by Roger Hamilton, things like that, you know, and they say that there's different areas of life where some of us are more in flow than others, right? Usually a marketing person has a very different personality to an accountant, right? You know, they're usually out there, like, I'm definitely a marketing person, I'm out there, I'm generally not good with the systems in the back end, whereas accountants generally would be very good with the systems in the back end, right? And, you know, they've got in the wealth dynamics profile, you've got creators, you've got stars, traders, deal makers, supporters, accumulators, lords, mechanics, you know, all these different personality types, or that people are more in flow. So you could actually take on any of the different types of profiles. However, generally we have more flow. We're more comfortable, I guess, in some ways than others. You know, so I have a strong star supporter profile. So I'm very good at shining the light on other people, very good at connecting people. And then you have the creators that are great at coming up with new ideas all the time and generally not great at finishing things, right? And then you've got the traders that are very great supporters. You've got the people that are the lords that are good with the figures and the numbers and good at the systems. You know, so and then the DISC profiles, you've got your dominant, you've got your you know, influential, the steady, the cautious, etc. So however, it's interesting where you say that, where rather than calling it a weakness, it's something that could be developed. Of course, it could be developed, and you could, you know, anyone could learn any skill. Because I guess as babies, you know, whether Ken was saying we've got born leaders, you know, I think about babies and I think, well, yeah, maybe some of them are a bit bossier than others. You know, some of the little toddlers running around, you know, pushing the others around. It's like some bird species, you know, some bird species are a bit bossier than other bird species, you know. So it's interesting, you know, all the different personalities in that. I guess anything can be learned, right?
Exactly. And I think challenges are a big part to this whole thing called life. You need to face adversities. You need to be situations which are never faced by you. and that's where your real growth comes. That's where you improve. And if you say I don't want any problems, so the point is, my mother's father, my great grandfather, he used to say that, the day you're born, your problems have started. Now now that's how it is. Now, do what do you want to do about it? So you got to start working on it, make it part of your life, and then that's how success happens. So even toddlers have their I mean, they get injured, and they have problems, but they just cry for a very short time, and then they start playing again. So that's how it is.
Yeah, whereas some people grow up and whenever they get triggered, they act like 3-year-olds, right? They either get angry, they freeze, or they run away. And in fact, most people, when they get triggered, we turn back into 3-year-olds, and how we react and respond to things. And back to communication, I think everything can be resolved with communication. Everything, right? Whether it's family issues, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's with, and even having team members be able to speak up to their bosses as well, some bosses, some leaders can be complete a-holes. I mean, I've had some doozies in the media industry, I must say. It's a challenging world in some of the corporate industries as well. It can be very challenging sometimes. The thing to get is that hurt people hurt people. So if people are being nasty, they're obviously under a lot of pressure. Don't take it personally. And, the minute I got, in fact, Landmark was an amazing course for me. I love doing Landmark. And in fact, in Landmark, when I did it in 2006, Landmark Education, I remember on the Sunday of the Landmark Forum, I actually resolved something with my dad that I had been holding on to for 30 years that I had blocked out of my memory. That I had an opinion about my dad, and through one conversation, we were able to resolve it. And now we have the most extraordinary relationship. Now, 50 years on, we are so close. And in fact, from that point forward, from having that one conversation, it turned everything around. And, I encourage people watching this right now, what's that conversation that you've been avoiding having because you're worried about, whatever it is you're worried about, because it's normally fear or love that we're coming from when it comes to having these conversations, and I challenge you to step up and speak up about it. And actually, what's the worst that can happen, right? What's the worst that can happen? Let's focus on, just by you sharing something that's on your mind or on your heart, it's amazing how liberating that can be. What do you think about that, Ken?
I agree. Just sharing stuff that's on your heart and looking for ways to resolve any of those conflicts. That could be a real crucial. And communication. Oh my gosh, communication is so really vitally important in a lot of things you do. And so I definitely think it's extremely important.
Yeah, so in terms of communication, one of the important aspects is listening. And it's gone from active listening to proactive listening to intentional proactive listening. So it's like that. So because there is so much less listening happening. So people have added more prefixes to it, active listening, proactive listening, intentional proactive listening, to stress that it's really not happening, because we are just moving on our, the mobile phones that we are using, the streams, the different videos, the different things that we see. Our attention span has really gone down. And even when we are talking to people in our family, everybody's got a mobile phone, even on the dinner table. And that's where all those leadership lessons are lost. You have generations to generations have stories, and they have wonderful stories to tell, but the new generation aren't listening. I mean, nobody's so that's why you need to go out of your family circle and get a coach. So it's really sad that at one point of time, your grandmothers and your grandfathers, your fathers and your mothers and your friends were good mentors and coaches and people who you look up to. But now you have to go out of the family space to find coaches and mentors. So that's the sad part, but still, we are here to help everyone.
Yes,
I think it's
absolutely.
a good point that you bring about listening, especially that's one of the things, like in the very beginning of building my business, there's there was a program that I was a part of, that there was a group of us that were a part of. And that's where, I learned the concept that I know now as coaching is in that program. Certified Mastery Coaching is what that program was. And one of the things that they stress in there is when you're showing up for a call for a client or whatever, and you're in that coaching session, it's kind of funny. You can't see it on my screen because my screen's kind of cropped, but back here, there's always this lighthouse that sits on my dresser. And that's there just as a kind of like as a pillared and also a reminder to show up for those calls, those coaching calls, to show up as a lighthouse, not as a tugboat. A lot of times we get on calls and we're not really listening to the real problem that's being presented. We're not giving the space needed that the person needs on the other end. We've got to show up giving that space for the person that's on the other end. Number one. And number two, show up with listening ears to hear the problem. And then number three, it's really important that you now are the lighthouse, not the tugboat. They may not be ready, if you will, to go into the harbor where it's safe. They may need to ram up against those rocks for a while until they're finally ready to come into the harbor where it's safe. You are the lighthouse. Your job is not to be the tugboat and tug them into the safe harbor. Your job is to shine the light on where they need to go and then leave that space for them to go. Don't be the tugboat. So all that encompassing, that's where the listening part comes in. That's where showing up and giving them that space and creating the space for them where they feel safe. Then you also, in doing that, you also effectively shine the light on where the harbor is. I use a lot of metaphors, but that's kind of where I've come from with the coaching, that the certification that I went through right before I launched my own business and brand. So that's just, I think that's a very valuable piece.
Yeah, I love that, Ken. It's interesting. I have European background. I have Greek, Turkish, Ukrainian background, and we talk over each other all the time, right? We don't let each other finish sentences. We're just constantly, and somehow we seem to know what the other person has said most of the time. It's just very much part of the culture. So actually, to be a great listener has really taken something for me. It really has taken some practice to be a great listener, and I'm still challenged with it to this day, because often I have all these thoughts going on in my head of what I want to say next, etc. And so it really is quite a skill to be able to learn to really listen intently with what people are saying. They say we have two ears and one mouth for a reason, right? To listen twice as much as we speak. And I absolutely love that. And I've had a few counseling sessions in my time in the past, and some of these counselors, all they've done for the whole hour is just listen to me go rah, 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 rah. And then I come out of it, I go, they haven't given me any new information, but I feel great that I've just vented for an hour. So it's amazing how healing it can be when you have someone who just listens and just holds space, as they say in some of the women's circles and different things I've been in. They say hold space for people. And yes, Naresh.
So, and there are different levels of listening. Like, for example, when somebody is talking, you are there, your eyes are looking at them, but you are in your own space. Like you're in your own mental box. That's one way. That's one level of listening. The other level of listening is you're hearing them, but it's not really getting into you. So it's just the words. Okay, I, you, only those words or voices or the sound. To be honest, it's just a sound. Because, for example, if I speak in French and you don't know French, you're just listening to the sound. You don't know the language. So language means only when you understand what I'm saying. So it's not only the sound. And then probably after that is, okay, you're hearing them, you're liking what they're saying, but that's it. You're not going to change your concept. Okay. You're listening to them, but you're not going to change your concept. And finally, the level 4 listening is you're empathetic. You understand. You understand that they are talking because they want you to really hear them out properly, and probably want you to also learn something from it. So that's where the action happens. So even in listening, there are 4 levels of listening, and we need to get to the highest level if you really want to learn, adapt, and really change and finally transform. Like I say, if you want to change, it's incremental. It's like a fast caterpillar. But if you want to transform, it's like a butterfly. So if you want to transform, obviously you need to get to the level 4 listening. That's how it is.
Even at the highest level, though, I think, especially when you're on a coaching call or a consulting call, right? Let's just go with the coaching call. So especially if you're on a coaching call and your job is to be that lighthouse, if you will, if you allow yourself to be too wrapped up in their emotional circumstances, you can actually often be drawn into that, and then your own vision on what you should be gets clouded. And so I think, yes, you need to be at the highest level and have, as you say, that empathy, but you also need to be careful to take a stance back that's more detached so that you can now be that light and not get drawn into that situation and all the emotional part of it. And I mean, I admit, when I was first going through all of that, I mean, and I still think it's sometimes a challenge as well. I admit being able to be at a healthy distance, detached from the emotion, that can be a challenge sometimes, especially somebody like me. I'm extremely emotional. And so it's really easy for me to get drawn in.
So, I mean, that word detachment, I just want to bring a small, wonderful line to it. So, what is detachment? Detachment is that it's not that you own nothing, but nothing owns you. So that's detachment. So, like you say, okay, I want to run away or go to the top of the mountain. I want to run away from life. Now, that's not the right way of looking at detachment. So, you're not running away from things. You're not running away from people. You're not running away from probably making a good life for your family and for your community. But all those things are not going to control you. Money is not going to control you. Even for that matter, love or even that emotional bonding is not going to control you, because your vision is big. Your vision is above everything else. So I say, being not really aligned to only one theme, one goal, one community, one society is something. When you try to cut yourself from others, you got to belong to everybody. For that, you need to be open. You need to share yourself with everybody, and for that, you should have a better worldview. So that's how it is, and that's important.
Yeah, I get what both of you are saying. And one thing I do sometimes is when I'm, chatting with someone and I'm really, hearing them and understanding what they're saying, or inner standing, as some people say in common law, inner standing, really getting it on the inside. Not standing underneath anyone. That's a whole other conversation. Understanding as opposed, inner standing. One thing I do is I'll put an energy bubble around myself. I'll put a light bubble around myself, because sometimes if you're a very, empathic person, or, sometimes if you really draw yourself in, like Ken was saying, sometimes you can end up a bloody mess. You might be happy coming into the conversation. By the time you finish the conversation with someone, sometimes you feel like, oh my gosh, I've got a bloody load on my back that you've just taken on if you're too empathic. So I think you got to draw the line somewhere there and hold your space, hold your ground, so that you're not, giving so much of yourself that you actually deplete yourself. And so, that's where actually, nurturing, filling your own cup up and helping others with the overflow is important. And also, I think calling people out on their stuff sometimes, because sometimes people just want to live in drama and they just go on and on and on. And as I say, there's some people that come into the room, you're happy they've come into the room, and some people you're happy when they leave the room, right? So just notice the people in your life. Do they lift your energy, or do they bring your energy down? And same with your team members, right? If you're a leader, whether it's in business or whether it's in a sporting group, or whether, when you're looking for great team players in whatever environment, are these people, do they have a great attitude? Do they have a can-do attitude, or do they have a can't-do attitude with everything? Is it like, oh, it's impossible, can't do this, can't do that, mate? In Australia, it's like, it's a bit like, oh my gosh, we've got all sorts here. But, a bit like the rednecks in America. It's like, yeah, mate, she'll be right, mate. It's a bit like that in some places. But anyway, these people, sometimes they breed people, these people, so sometimes they have, this is the next generation, right? Next generation of num-nums we're breeding. Anyway, I digress just slightly. But, I digress just slightly. And so what sort of people have you got on your team? Who is in your environment? Have you got complete num-nums who you just need to, let go with love, let go for other opportunities? Or do and sometimes these people are family, and so you think, well, okay, I couldn't really control whether they came into my environment, in my family environment. You can control how much time you spend with those people, right?
Yeah, so I like to just bring something which Robin Sharma says, that you need to move from being a victim to a hero, from moving your can'ts to can, and from being like living in the past to being heroic. You want to be a hero, like not to say like a male female hero, but in the sense the theme that I'm talking about. And then many people are just being busy. So I'm busy. So rather than being busy, you got to be focused, really focused. So that's really important, and that's where you need to understand what you need to be focused for. Like they say, there are only two things in life: you should know what is important and what is not important. But the biggest thing is to know what's important, and that's why you need to have coaches, consultant, mentors, learning from others. So it's like the three stage: learn, earn, and return. So most people first learn when they are small, when they go to school, the college, and education, and then they start earning. Most of their life they keep earning, and then when they are a fag end of their life, they start saying, now I got to return. But I think it's high time that we do all this more or less at the same time. Once we get to a particular stage in our life, you got to learn, earn, and return together. So that's the best way of going about. What do you say?
I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely love that. Yeah, brilliant. Oh my gosh, this is such a good conversation. I'm loving this about leadership. It is so cool. And we've got someone here. Thank you for those joining us live, by the way. We have someone on Facebook. We don't know who you are. So please do allow StreamYard to see your face and your name. However, we have a Facebook user that met the most lovely lady at Arndale Shopping Centre. Her shop is Shasha, and she gifted her a lipstick. Now, that's good leadership, and that's good marketing. That's good leadership, and it's good marketing. And to be a great leader also, I think you need to be able to market yourself. And being generous, that's beautiful. Plus, this morning when I was at TMB Drive-Through Coffee, I was gifted a free coffee for my birthday. I'm so grateful. Well, that is wonderful. And so TMB Drive-Through Coffee gets a mention there too, because they're also doing great marketing by gifting something free for the birthday. And now this happy customer says, I'm so grateful for that. And now we've just shared it out to 100,000 people on this show. Yes, Ken.
Oh, no. I didn't have anything to say.
Right. I thought you were about to say something.
And I think that brings about the growth mindset that we need to talk about at this stage, because mostly people don't understand what is growth mindset. Now, growth mindset is not about trying to run around saying that I'm improving, I'm better. That's fine. That's part of the story. But the growth mindset is also to involve others to be better. So where does that line stop, where you only talk about yourself and you are not delivering that kind of energy to others? So the leadership is not a title. It's not a title. It's about how other people see you as a leader. So leadership can start at the bottom rung of the organization. You don't need to become a CEO and say I'm a leader. So leadership
Yes.
without a title is what we need to talk about.
Oh yeah, I
Let
love
me
that.
add to
Yeah.
that. Let me add to that because you just you just hit on a topic that I talk about a lot with my clients in my program. I produce content with it, and it's talking about the difference between two different mindsets. One is the fixed mindset, the other one is the growth mindset. So I kind of want to expand a little bit on both of those, especially the growth mindset. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the example of well, first, yeah. So let's use the example of someone. So my brand, I'm a weight loss coach, and my brand is Mastery Weight Loss. And so one of the things that I teach is you've got to be able to embark on your weight loss journey with a growth mindset. What is that? What do I mean by that? What does that entail? Well, first of all, the fixed mindset person is going to be this kind of person. Let's say they're 7 days into their journey, right? Things are going great. The scale is moving. Everything's going wonderful. Let's say day number 8, they had a real stressful day at work. Things just, nothing went right that day. All right. And they're an emotional mess when they get home. They are just so frustrated. They don't want to deal with anything. So what do? Well, a fixed mindset person, that's a person that's also going to go run to food and use food as a band-aid for their life's problems. And that should never happen. But so they eat the pizza or whatever. They eat a whole pizza to themselves. Later on that night, that decision starts to weigh on them. The fixed mindset person is going to take a look at that and they're going to be just like, dang, I screwed up again. See, this is just not working. I fall every single time. I'm just going to start again next week. Forget it. Or I'm just going to start again at the new year. I'm not even going to try going through this holiday season and trying to make good. I'm just going to just throw in the, and I'll just start again in the new year. That's the way a fixed mindset person thinks. And it is the most damaging thing in business, in weight loss, in coaching. Another way this shows up is an ability that you would like to have. You go and you try to learn that ability, but things are complicated, things are difficult. So what's easier for you to do? Well, I guess I'm just not meant to have this skill, just because it won't work out. I'm not meant to have it. It's just not me. What the fixed mindset person misses is the journey of becoming, the journey of getting better, the journey of embracing the challenges and the difficult times and using those as a tool to get better, stronger, and wiser. Now we're going to switch to the growth mindset person. Growth mindset person, using that same example of the person that fell and ate the pizza or whatever it is, pastry, whatever you want to call it, all right? That person, now what that person does is that person knew that when he started on his journey to lose weight, that person knew that he was going to have challenges. That person went in that journey expecting those challenges, knowing that they were on the way, knowing that he was going to have flat tires, fall off the horse, get muddy, get messy. But the growth mindset person goes into that journey, whether it's business, counseling, whatever it is, goes into that journey expecting those, and then embraces those times as growth opportunities, time to learn. So this growth mindset person, yeah, I fell, he ate the whole pizza. But then what happened? That night, the decision weighed on him and he kind of felt a little bad. But then what happened? He decided to get back up on the horse, learn from that. Okay, what were my trigger points? What happened? Why was I drawn to this situation? Oh, yeah, that's right. Bad day, da-da-da. What can I put into place to help me be stronger for longer, if you will? That's the growth mindset person. And the growth mindset is crucial when you're on any kind of journey of growth, because that's where you grow. Fixed mindset person skips the entire journey. And the thing about that is, the unfortunate thing about that is let's say the person reached their weight goal. That's going to be a day of celebration. Yes. But the real treasure, the real gold, the real gems are back there in that journey. All the milestones that were hit, all the learning points, everything. That's the real treasure. And the fixed mindset person misses all of that and forfeits all of that. So that's bringing that topic into a little bit more of a depth. There you go.
So I just want to kind of give an important point as kind of a closing point, and let's see how that goes. So we talk about team building, and we talk about high performance teams, and we talk about competent and exceptional. These words are really good, but even in that word, it's very clear. Now, exceptional means it doesn't happen every day, right? So we talk about exceptional and extraordinary leadership. So that's how it is. So in between competence you have exception, and finally the word is called dynamic leadership. So in a team everybody is not at the same zone. So one day probably they are too good, and that's when they step up and become the leader. So it's all about self-managing teams, self-engaging teams, and that's how today the world is moving.
Yeah, I love that. Very, very cool. Well, we've been chatting for an hour already. Can you believe it? It's just gone like 5 minutes. It's just flown.
Right.
Before we start wrapping up here, Naresh, what is some sort of summarizing what we've talked about here, and any other sort of tips that you can share with us around what makes a great leader?
So one is competence and trying to do better. So I really bring about what David Goggins says. So David Goggins is, as one of the strongest human being on earth, and he says that you give up when your body is hitting at 40%, because the mind goes into the creature mode, or the animal mode, where you start into self-preservation. And when you're at 40%, your mind starts saying that you are in the jungle, you don't have any life support, so you got to stop now. But that's where you need to really start afresh, and that's what you keeps going. So I would say that the biggest part is knowing your own capability, and that's where you need to keep pushing forward, and always understand that the future is going to be better, and you got to know that you got to have a part in it. Now if that confidence comes every day, and we say the life is not fair, all that, but I would say yes, life is not fair, but you can make it fantastic.
Yes, beautiful. And it is really an ongoing journey, and loving the journey, and appreciate in your life, acknowledge yourself for how far you've come too, because often a lot of people on LinkedIn, our connections, etc., and a lot of people in business, we are such high achievers that sometimes it kind of feels like no matter how much you do, it's not enough, right? So actually just acknowledge how far you've come, and acknowledge that you are a leader in your own life, whether you realize it or not. We have 60,000 thoughts a day, and we make a lot of decisions for ourselves every day. We make a lot of choices, right? So you are actually leading yourself every single day, and how that goes is completely up to you. So taking 100% responsibility for everything in your life, and get that everything happens for you, not to you. So when I'm challenged, when I'm triggered by things that my team may do, I know that there's something there for me to learn. There's something there, maybe there's, and take responsibility for that, and go, okay, why am I getting triggered by this? Is there something that I haven't explained properly to the team? And, my team are in the Philippines. And so in the Philippines, they often say, yes, they can do everything, right? And they're lovely. However, often I then later can find out that actually, no, they can't do it because they make mistakes, right? Sometimes, right? Sometimes. It has happened like that. And so I say to my team, well, please be straight with me. I'd rather you come to me with your questions rather than go out publicly and put a wrong link online or something like that, which is what happened last week. We had a few incorrect links that went up for some of our shows last week, right? And and it was in the copying and pasting of the comments, because what happens with StreamYard is that the comments are meant to go to all 8 streams, but they don't. They just go to the Facebook page. And so then manually we copy the comments and put them into the other streams. But what happens is that if you just copy and paste, you only get half the link. You've actually got to click on the link to copy it over. So you see all these little technical things, right? And some people might say, well, do a video about that and show your team how to do it, which I haven't done a video. I just say, click the link, da, da, da. So I guess the clearer we can make it as leaders, as team leaders, the clearer we can make it for our team with the systems, so that we explain all these, whereas we might think it's really simple, but for others, and they may think it's simple, but actually, we're talking about 2 completely different things. We're how we understand things and how we share things can be 2 different things sometimes. So actually just having straight communication about that. So, in fact, exactly what happened today with our team. We had this straight communication. And by the end of it, it was fantastic, because now we've aired everything. We've got it off our chest, no judgment. We all make mistakes sometimes with some things, and it's just okay. Life goes on. But the main thing is, do you have the right attitude to continue with this work, right? Do you have the right attitude? And so one of the questions I asked my team is, why are you choosing to stay working in the business? Why are you choosing to stay to work? Because they can go anywhere else and work somewhere else too. And there was actually many reasons that they gave for why they wanted to stay working with me, even when sometimes, they may not like what I have to say. And sometimes we're going to piss people off. Sometimes people are not going to like you, and that's okay. You got to be okay with that as a great leader as well. You got to be okay. Sometimes people are not going to like what you have to say. However, it's having those hard conversations, and look at Steve Jobs in Apple. How many people did Steve Jobs piss off in Apple? But look how successful he made Apple, right? There's, and people like Ray Kroc, the story behind McDonald's is really interesting as well. And some leaders can be absolutely brutal. Some of them can be like full on, because they're like, go, 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 go. And the time management thing, like they have every 5 minutes is accounted for with a lot of leaders, and this is something I've been challenged with in my life. Like I think, okay, I've got an hour, I allow an hour for this meeting, and sometimes it can go for an hour and a half. And so actually, how to then focus and prioritize, and how to sort of cut to the chase sometimes, things like that. It's an ongoing challenge for me, right? I admit it, and so any tips around that too, actually, I would love to hear from you, Naresh. Any tips around sort of time or self-management as well for leaders?
So I like being an engineer. I normally work with numericals. So people ask, okay, Naresh, what is life? I simply say 4,000 weeks. So that is life. So you have 4,000 weeks. Now, how many weeks do you want to remove from that 4,000? So that depends upon you. So that's when it starts hitting. Oh, 4,000 weeks. 1 week gone. 3,999 weeks. So that's something really keeps people. Oh, I don't have any time to lose now. So that's a reminder.
Oh my gosh, 4,000 weeks sounds like that sounds like nothing. Oh my gosh. What are your thoughts on that, Ken?
Yeah, that definitely is. That's a little bit, oh, hey, that's a reality check. Oh, shit. That's pretty much what that is.
Yeah. And like just this morning, I was sharing on my Step Up, Speak Up challenge we're doing at the moment. I was sharing 1/3 of people die by the age of 65. 1/3 of the population. That goes pretty damn quick, right? I mean, I used to think when I was 20, I thought 30 was old. When I was 30, I thought 40 was old. When I was 40, I thought 50 was old. And now I'm almost 50 and I'm freaking out. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, am I here already? And I still feel in my mind mentally, I still feel 20, 30. But hey, this is life, right? And it seems to be speeding up. I think since social media has come about, it has sped up. Life has sped up, So
yeah, there's a reason why especially like when I'm doing work, producing content, editing videos, doing different things, there's a reason why now I try to be as intentional as I possibly can with taking my phone and setting it across the room. Because if my phone is right next to me, you better believe I'm getting distracted. You better believe I'm picking it up every 5 or 10 minutes or something like that. And it usually, one thing that I notice, it usually happens when I get stuck on something. and, a thought isn't necessarily coming to me, or, I'm stuck on this particular portion of the written content that I'm putting out. It's like, what else do I say here? So instead of like being there in the moment and working through that, what do? If my phone's right next to me, I pick up my phone and I start scrolling, and I catch myself at it all the time. And I hate doing that. So now it's usually, when I want to just focus in, the phone gets set across the room. It's really simple. It's still in the room. I can still hear it if it notifies me, but it allows me to be more focused.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think very important.
just building a small thing so that we can understand. So what is focus? So follow one course until success. So that's focus.
Yes. I love that acronym. That's awesome.
I have heard that before. Thank you for the reminder, Naresh. Focus, especially for the ADHD people in the room. Right? Join the club. That's where I had counseling. Apparently, I had ADHD. Apparently, a lot of entrepreneurs do. Apparently, so it's a very kind. It's a superpower. In fact, that's how I'm choosing to look at it. It is a superpower. However, sometimes we do get distracted, and sometimes it's not that we have trouble focusing. Just trouble focusing on things that don't interest us in general. However, I must say my mind is very active, and it's really taken something for me to slow down my mind and to do things like meditate. And in fact, all great leaders I know meditate. Every single one of them meditates, and they make time for themselves in the morning. They exercise. There are common habits of highly successful people, right? And Think and Grow Rich is a great book to read as well, to
Exactly.
get some great enlightenment on that. Just on the time management, self-management part of things, I know a lot of successful people, they time block, and there's multiple things that they do to help overcome overwhelm. What are some of your tips around that, Naresh, the things that you do?
So I don't really think about time management. I think about energy management. So you have energy which is limited. So how are you going to use that energy well? So I look at energy management, because energy management is life management. That's what I believe. The time management is just that is a scale, right? So time is a scale, and so everybody has a different scale. So in your life, how much can you do? How resourceful are how impactful you are? So it's not about impression, it's about impact, as they say. So I would say that's why energy is important. So if you keep your energy at a very high level, you don't need to look at the time. You are going to do some great things.
That's great. And that's where a lot of people exercise. I know Ken's right into exercise. And for me, yoga has been really powerful for me, because often I go, 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 go. And he is in the media. It's go, 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 go. Constant deadlines, time frames, constant adrenaline, And so for me, it's taken real practice to actually meditate. And now in the mornings, I do guided meditations. I do gratitude practices, all sorts of things like that, and make time to boost my energy with going to the beach, getting some sunshine, grounding myself. The other night I went to this amazing mansion overlooking the whole of the Gold Coast, and we danced barefoot on the grass to really cool DJing out in the open. It was awesome. So just doing wild, crazy things like that sometimes, sound healings. There's so much we can do to boost our energy. And so it's also getting conscious to what is it that actually energizes us that we do. The kinds of foods we eat. Of course, Ken's the expert on that, right? The kinds of food you eat that energizes you, and the kind of food that you eat that's going to zap your energy. I think that's a brilliant point there. Ken, any other comments on that point?
I can go in a whole bunch of different directions with that for sure. But for the sake of time, I am going to just throw this little tidbit. So yes, energy, your food and energy. If you are eating something out of a box, if you are eating something out of a package, if you are eating something with a long list of ingredients, first of all, I'm going to tell you that's not food. That is not food. Your body doesn't know what to do with it, and you're wondering why you feel the way you do. You're wondering why you have that 2:00 in the afternoon. Ugh. You're wondering why you've got, no. The best energy food for your body is going to be the foods with one ingredient. Broccoli, for example. Let's take broccoli. Just that's safe. Let's take that for example. What's the ingredients in broccoli? Broccoli.
It's the fastest food
It's
on the planet.
it's like it's as simple as that. Yeah, you know, chicken. What's the ingredients in chicken? Chicken. That's it.
Yes,
It gets
although
as
on that
simple.
point, just on the chicken one, hormones, there's other things could go into some chicken. But anyway,
This
won't
is
go down.
true. Very, very good point. Very, very good point. Be careful in regards to meats and chickens and stuff like that, be careful where you're getting your stuff from. Make wise decisions on with that because, yeah, how they're eating, whether they were caged or whatever, that does affect. So when possible, get grass-fed beef, get grass-fed butter, get different things like that. Just make better choices around those things. But these are the kind of foods that are going to energize you. These are the kind of foods that are going to satiate you. And I've recently had some people go, well, what does satiate mean? And it surprises me how many people don't know what that word means. So I'm going to explain it. It basically means you're fuller quicker, you stay fuller longer, and you're more satisfied. Satiating. When you're eating satiating whole proteins, good proteins in your routine, you're going to stay energized for a longer period of time. You're going to stay satiated for a longer period of time. You're going to find that those snacking urges are going away. You're going to find that hunger issues are going away because you're focused on foods that are satiating to your body and to yourself. I will plug this one last thing in here because it's actually part of the content that I'm putting out this week. Did you know that the food pyramid, the mainstream food pyramid, the ever so popular food pyramid, is literally a recipe for diabetes? Think about that for a while. It is literally a recipe for diabetes. Why? What is their number one recommendation where most of the servings of your food, what do they recommend? What is it? Breads, pastas, carbs, starches, all of that. What's one thing that the food pyramid says to minimize? Your proteins. Go look at it yourself. If you look at the food pyramid, you notice all the meats and all the proteins. So forget the word meats. Let's look at the protein concept, protein and carbs. It's way up here at the top. Use sparingly. That is literally a recipe for diabetes. And it has caused a skyrocket in diabetes, coronary heart disease, high blood pressure, all of that. So anyhow, like I said, I can go off for days and hours on this. So I'm going to leave it there for the sake of time and because this is about Naresh, not me. So there you go.
However, that's a great example of how passion is an essential ingredient of leadership. If you're not passionate about what you do, I don't believe you're going to be a great leader with what you do. If you're just doing it for the money, that's when it's really not going to last, I believe. And so that beautiful example there of the passion you have, Ken, around that topic would make you a great leader. Like I'm leaning in thinking, oh yeah, I want to know more about this, right? I want to know how I can increase my energy and avoid doing things according to the food pyramid, which is obviously completely wrong. It's incorrect information. And now the truth is coming out, my friends, on all sorts of things. And leadership is our topic today. And there's so much tied in with that. So we'll start wrapping up the show now. Naresh, any final comments on leadership before we start to wrap up and share your links, etc.?
I think you need to get to a point where you see your life as a bigger story than yourself, and that's where you will push that leadership urge to a better cause. So that's really important, and that will fuel your life to a better purpose, and that is the engine for growth. So that's really the engine for growth. So you need to step out and see that there is a larger part of this world which needs you, which hears you out, and you need to gain that confidence step by step, and you need to have wonderful people around you. So choose your tribe. So that's really important.
I love that. Yeah, you can't choose your family, but you can choose your tribe that you hang out with.
Yes.
I love that. And do you have a favorite quote or motto that you live by, Naresh?
Yeah, I just say that if you can get up every day, you have that life, and then you got to give it all. So as soon as you get up in the morning, you just say that yes, thank you God, and I'm going to make this day fantastic. I know I'm not going to think about more than 24 hours, and I'm not going to plan too much. So I've gotten up today. Thank you for that, and I'm going to make this the greatest day of my life, and that's how you live every day.
Yeah, I love that. In fact, I was on a event the other day. It was a life planning day, and they're talking about if you want a great year, then have a great month, have a great week, have a great day, right? Have a great hour, have a great moment. Be present in the moment. Present equals gift, and the present is a gift, right? And so
So
it's really,
one last line, like
yes.
and this is there in a lot of cartoons, as they say, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift, and that's why it is called present.
Yes, I love that. Thank you,
Yeah.
Naresh. Oh, it's wonderful. Now, I've got your LinkedIn link here ready to share. So, is that the best way people can connect with you on LinkedIn?
Exactly.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Well, it's been a fantastic show, I must say. So there we go. We've got Naresh's link there for you. Just go linkedin.com/in/Naresh Chandra. So that's spelled NareshChandra. Fantastic. And how can they best work with you? Do you consult as well at the moment, Naresh?
So most of my time goes to attracting investors into India. So I'm all about investing in India, grow India, because India is going to be the one of the fastest growing economies for the next 10 years for sure. So if you want to really grow your life, so I would suggest putting a welcome mat and opening a door and welcoming you to India. So that's one thing, and the other thing is I do life coaching, business coaching in various platforms, and you can please connect with me, DM me on LinkedIn, and I'm available, and I work across time zones. So as I said, I'm global.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Naresh, for being our guest. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. And Ken, how can people connect with you?
You can connect with me through my link tree, and that is www.linktr.ee/FatFighterKen. And in that link tree, you're going to find 3 links at the top. So there's lots of links in there, but the top 3 are the most important. One is a link to join my Facebook group, which has a lot of really awesome video footage and really good content in there. It's great stuff in there for deeper dives on even some of the things I've talked about here today. The second one is my calendar link, which is a great way to connect with me and to further our connection one-on-one, if you will, and book an appointment with me. I don't bite. Would love to get to know you further and maybe see if I can help you on your path and point you in the right direction with tips and different things like that in your own journey. And then, possibly you can choose to work with me. I definitely have some different packages when it comes to that as well, comes to coaching one-on-one. Lastly is my website. There's a link on there that takes you right to my website, and you can find my podcast on there. You can find out information about me. You can find out why I have the approach that I have when it comes to a weight loss journey. Notice I don't think once during this whole show and the examples I've given and everything have I used the word diet. That should give you a clue on part of my philosophy. And then also on that site is a masterclass that is running right now, but stay tuned because that masterclass is going to be taken down. And then a brand new one, updated one, which is going to be fire, and I can't wait for it to come out, is going to be coming out on that website. So stay tuned for that date.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ken. And for those who want to connect with me, you'll find all my links at linktree/Aldwyn, linktr.ee/Aldwyn, including the link for the Total Truth Show Facebook page if you haven't liked it already. We're also up on BitChute and Rumble because we have had some content censored on YouTube. Believe it or not, it's very hard to imagine why they would censor anything. Actually, I don't know why there would be no freedom of information out there. I always say if there's nothing to hide, why the censorship? Something to question, something to ponder, my friends. Why the censorship if there's nothing to hide? And if you watch the Thrive documentaries, follow the money trail, my friends. So back to my links. Now, we do have a Step Up, Speak Up challenge on right now this week, 7 a.m. every day, Australian Eastern Standard Time, every day, Monday to Friday this week. We've just done the first 2 days. You can hop into our Facebook group at any time and you can come and join us on this challenge. It's absolutely free. We are inspiring you to step up and speak up in at least one area of your life this week. It's a beautiful, safe community there. And I'm also going to challenge you to do the Global Good News Challenge. Now, this is a way you can share gratitude and good news. It's free marketing for you as well because we share your challenge videos out to thousands of people. I know Ken's done it in the past. We have an 11-day challenge happening for November. You can start your 11 days of live videos anytime within November for the 11th month. And it's just sharing your name, what you do, 3 things you're grateful for, and a piece of good news. Okay, so I'm going to challenge you to do that by the end of the month. If you miss a day, you go back to day 1 and start again. Okay, that's the challenge. That's the challenge, stepping up your leadership now moving forward. In December, we're going to have a 12-day challenge for the 12th month. And then January, we're going back to a 1-day challenge. Okay, however, I'm going to encourage you, inspire you to do the 11 days now. It will definitely help you build your confidence. It will help you share your message, and you're going to feel great getting into gratitude every single day for the 11 days, and just watch what happens in your life as you do that. In fact, one lady, Kate Denning, her very first Good News Challenge, she got a client directly from that one little video she did on Facebook. And you just hold your phone up and do a little simple live stream. You don't have to do all the flash, kit and caboodle that we do here. All right, so there's that. Also, we have Present with Power. I've got a free webinar I'm doing with a lady who is from America originally. She is now based in Berlin. In fact, Ken and I interviewed her on our last Total Truth show. It's Elizabeth King. She's got 30 years of opera experience. We're doing Present with Power on November 21 as well. And I just heard, Ken, by the way, Anna Berger, our good friend Anna Berger, who helps you recode your subconscious mind. She is doing a free challenge, a free 5-day challenge to help people recode their subconscious minds for December, which is insane because I paid $297 US when I did it, and I did the VIP. She's doing a free one for December. So definitely hop on board there with the beautiful Anna Berger, who we've interviewed before, and we've both worked with Anna. And we've had so many amazing people on our show in the past. So I do recommend lean in, check out some of our previous content, stay connected. We haven't shared your favorite quote or motto, actually, Ken. Let's come back to you and share that there. What's your favorite?
So with this, today? And also in light of the fact that you mentioned Anna Berger, I think this is perfect. And plus, it was already in the back of my head that I should share something like this, something different, off the cuff than what I normally share. So first part 1, do everything from a place of abundance. Everything from a place from abundance. Don't work, produce content, do your business or whatever from a place of lacking or reactionary. Do it from a place of abundance. Second part of this, make everything easy, simple, and fun.
Yeah,
and both those concepts came from working with Anna.
I love that. In fact, with my team, we actually do a little mantra at the end of our team sessions, and we get up and we shake it all out, and we punch our hands in the air and we go, this is easy, this is simple, this is fun. So we do that with the team 3 times at the end of every one of our meetings. So there you go. However, if you don't have a team to do it, we just do it to yourself in the mirror because, hey, why not admire yourself in the mirror? Look at yourself in the eyes and go, you are hot, baby. You are hot. Okay, my favorite quote and motto to live by is be the change you wish to see in the world. Here it is by the amazing Mahatma Gandhi. Be the change you wish to see in the world. And this is a little card I give people. You are awesome and a gift to the world. You are awesome and a gift to the world. You are extraordinary. And everything you do makes a difference, right? You are having a ripple effect, whether you realize it or not. It could be in a positive way, it could be in a negative way. You could be lifting the energy, drowning the energy for some people. And how are you for yourself? How are you showing up for yourself? You are a miracle by birth, and you're here for a reason. And this has been an awesome show, I must say. Any final words, Naresh or Ken, before we wrap up?
So two things. One is whenever you're not able to change the situation, it's better that you challenge yourself to change yourself. And the leading line to that is face it, fix it, make it better.
I'll add to that. Every circumstance that comes across your path, you always have a choice. You can either, one, choose to be a victim of that circumstance, which is something that I used to be really good at. Or you can, two, choose to pivot in a different direction. It doesn't necessarily mean the circumstance went away. It just means you're choosing to handle it in a different way and not fall prey. You always have the power of choice.
I love that. In fact, I love it so much for both of you. So I'm going to give it the clap. There it is. We all get the clap today. Well done. That was brilliant. And as my friend Sam Cawthorn says from Speakers Institute, he says the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. Stay tuned, guys. Hop into our links there. Love to connect with you. You can connect on, also book a free calendar connection call with me as well on my link tree as well there. And let's stay connected. And here's to rocking. Have an awesome day and awesome week ahead. Thank you so much, Naresh, for being our special guest all the way from Dubai. And hopefully we'll catch up in India or Dubai one day. I'd love to meet you in person. And we'll look forward to some great adventures ahead. Have a beautiful day or night.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks, Aldwyn. It was really wonderful, and really I'm thankful for this time and getting me on the platform. Thank you. Thank a lot.
You're most welcome. It was absolutely wonderful. And have a beautiful day or night wherever you are in the world. We'll see you again here very soon with more amazing Total Truth Show episodes. Thank you so much for your support. We'll see you then.